catch up with us! Run as fast as you can! Run, Hugo!
What's happening, Amicia?
Don't stay there, lady, they're coming!
You may run, but no one can escape their own blood.
Death, war, plague, and famine run rampant throughout France, but the fault doesn't lie upon the soldier nor the rat. It lies upon the appetites of men and those who'd weaponize innocence. But who are these men, and who are the innocent?
So, that's my disease.
You're not sick, Hugo. It's a gift. I'll explain later.
A gift.
Can evil lie within a bloodline? If it can, is it worth it to fight against it? Can you even cure the evil that lies within you? In A Plague Tale Innocence and A Plague Tale Requiem, our protagonists, Amicia and Hugo de Rune, run fiercely towards that answer. The de Rune siblings are French nobles whose lives were upended by the progression of Hugo's cursed blood and the Inquisition's raid on the de Rune estate.
An ancient evil courses through your family's veins, in its blood.
Amicia, the Protector, is the older sister and the main protagonist we play as. Her sole goal in the series is to protect and care for her younger brother, Hugo de Rune, and she protects him fiercely.
Down! We've got an intruder here! Alert!
That's it. Come. I'm right here.
See? They're nothing to be scared of. Yes! Come on then! Show me how you'll do it! That's all you've got! Come on!
Often to the detriment of herself. Hugo, the carrier, carries a blood curse called the Prima Macula. He suffered from it since birth, which has caused their mother, Beatrice, to isolate him from the world in order to find a cure. With their servants killed, their home destroyed, their father executed, and their mother captured at the hands of the Inquisition, together the siblings are forced to undertake a harrowing journey throughout France where they witness the horrors that lie within their own blood, all in an effort to save Hugo.
There's an old story. It tells of the Prima Macula. The alchemists say it was the first corruption, and that it silently travels in the blood of certain families.
The Prima Macula haunts the world of A Plague Tale. Throughout the games and the art featured in the games, Hugo's face and hands seem to be covered in a web of blackened veins, visible just underneath his skin. This is how the curse manifests itself as it spreads and consumes Hugo's body. As the curse grows in power, so does Hugo. The plague in A Plague Tale is caused and controlled by the Prima Macula. Its weapon of choice? Rats. The only weakness that there seems to be is light. Beyond the very short borders of torchlight is nothing but squirming, chittering, and chattering of rats, of death, of darkness. As Amicia, manipulating light is the most important weapon that you have. Often enough, you'll find yourself bathing the two protagonists in light in order to make it to an area relatively safely, either using a torch, a brazier on a cart, or even something as flimsy as a stick. However, you will also find yourselves extinguishing light just as much, and not always in defense. In the absence of light, the rats, plague, the Prima Macula, will fill in as if it was darkness itself. And as a player, as Amicia, sometimes, unfortunately, this is unavoidable. at least in the first game. In the second game, A Plague Tale: Requiem, it becomes more of a choice. A choice that is incentivized with the use of 3 skill trees. Prudence, which is more focused on stealth. It will grant you perks such as moving quicker when you're crouching or making less noise when you are crouched. Leveling this skill up is essential for a pacifist playthrough where you want to kill as little enemies as possible. Then there's Opportunism, which increases your ability to hold and craft various alchemical ingredients that you can use either in combat or in puzzles. This is a very middle-of-the-road, generalist utility sort of skill. You will be crafting a lot of alchemical ingredients. Lastly, there is the aggressive skill tree. To level up in this skill tree, you'll need to bludgeon, burn, and break your foes in each and every area. There is no special or specific way that you need to kill these enemies. You can use your sling, your crossbow, you can use the rats, or even your alchemy. All you need to do is kill a lot, and kill well.
You think you have every right to?
What? She's alive!
Where's your...
But I will fix it, ma!
Don't feel so strong now, huh?
It is my belief that Amicia de Rune, by the time of the second game, is a more aggressive person than she is prudent or opportunistic. In the second game, combat was heavily discouraged, where there would only really be 2 to 3 enemies at one time, and you could easily kite around them either using pots as a distraction or simply extinguishing a torch in order to have the rats feast on them. In A Plague Tale: Requiem, there are a lot more enemies, and there are a lot more ways to deal with them. And like many younger siblings do, your brother, Hugo, will begin to mirror your actions. Hugo will inevitably get the power to control various hordes of rats, and he can sick them on various guards. As long as there is no light around, the rats will feast upon their flesh, armored or not. However, one point is that this is all under the control of Amicia. Amicia is encouraging her little brother to use his dark powers to kill anyone that gets in their way. Across the span of 2 games, Amicia, a 15-year-old French noble who was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, and her little brother Hugo, a sheltered kid who knew nothing about the real world, are turned into killers, all for the sake of their family's survival. But what other choice do you have when those around you would extinguish your light in order to control the darkness?
I am the Grand Inquisitor Vitalis Benevent. You have no idea how I have suffered. Look what I endure for you.
The Inquisition is the main antagonistic force in the first game, A Plague Tale: Innocence. They are a militant sect of the Catholic Church, and their main goal is to extinguish any and all heresy, including the Prima Macula. Grand Inquisitor Vitalis Benevent leads the Inquisition in his goal to hunt down Hugo de Rune in order to infuse his blood into his and take the power of the Macula for himself.
Tell Lord Nicholas that the road is blocked. Any person or vehicle that wants to get through is to be stopped and searched.
And what are we looking for exactly?
A 5-year-old kid. Hugo de Rune. Brown hair, blue eyes.
Are they talking about me?
Lord...
The Inquisition operates out of a cathedral in the center of the infected town, which is essentially a stand-in for Paris. And within this Paris that isn't really Paris, the Inquisition have resorted to killing anyone who is infected or anyone who they think is infected. Now, this is horrible, but it is a necessary evil, right? I mean, just evacuate those who are confirmed healthy, and then, unfortunately, you'll have to deal with the rest. The thing is, the Inquisition released the rats into the city themselves, under the orders of Grand Inquisitor Vitalis Benevent. And all this to ensure that their work on the macula goes unimpeded. Not only that, but the Grand Inquisitor is directly responsible for the initial raid on the de Rune estate that killed the siblings' father. And Vitalis may have given the order, but his hand did not wield the sword. That deed goes to his second-in-command, Nicholas, the Scarlet Monk. Throughout the story, you are hounded by this holy knight whose only goal is to take Hugo away. He will kill Amicia in order to make that happen. The Inquisition has no qualms about killing a 15-year-old girl in order to further their own ends. But unfortunately, they don't have to kill Amicia in order to capture Hugo.
The sky. I can see the sky.
Nicholas, congratulations on capturing the child.
We've been after him for weeks, and then he simply turns up here asking to see his mother.
Within the clutches of the Inquisition, Hugo is brainwashed into believing Benevent's lies, and Nicholas uses Hugo to perform another raid on Amicia and her friend's safe haven, the Chateau d'Ombrage.
Amicia, your sister!
Kill her, child, and maybe Vitalis will keep you by his side.
Nicholas tries to use Hugo's powers of the Prima Macula in order to make him kill his very own sister, the one who's been protecting him the entire game. Not only that, but Vitalis Benevent gets exactly what he wants. He injects himself with Hugo's blood, the blood of the de Runes, the blood of the Prima Macula, and he gains the ability to control rats. And with those rats, he kills Paris. Vitalis Benevent, a man who was sworn to protect the people of France, has instead used his power and influence to capture, corrupt, utilize a little boy to his own ends. And in the process, he loses his life for it. Now, after dealing with Vitalis, Nicholas, and the rest of the Inquisition, the world begins to heal. Hugo begins to heal. Almost as if it were a cancer, the Prima Macula goes into remission.
There is no stopping it. No elixir, no potion.
Wait! There's an island! He keeps talking about an island! Maybe the macula is behind it!
On the Isle of Lacuna, the de Rune siblings sought peace and vitality. Instead, they found the truth. The antagonist of A Plague Tale Requiem is Victor de Arles, the Count of Provence, and his wife, Countess Amélie. Together, they have created a pagan cult on the Isle of Lacuna. Their deity is a figure called the Child of Embers, who is a messianic figure foretold to come back from the dead and bring joy to the people of Lacuna. His symbol is that of the phoenix, a bird who dies in flame but is also reborn by it. This bird has appeared in Hugo's dreams as a token of healing. This is what drives the siblings to Lacuna in the first place. Now, within this cult, the Count of Provence and his wife are the father and the mother, respectively. And when the de Rune siblings arrive on the Isle of Lacuna, they come to the conclusion that Hugo is the child who was promised, the Child of Embers.
Emily wants the boy, Amicia. I'm sorry, but she is sure now.
Sure about what?
That your brother is the Child of Embers. She must have him, so you must die.
And it is the father and mother, Victor and Amélie, who should take care of him, not Beatrice or Amicia. You see, the Count had created this farce of a cult to support his wife. His wife, Amelie, had grown up in an especially abusive household, so abusive that it drove her to try and commit suicide. And to add insult to injury, once she got married to the Count, she was happy, but she found out that she was infertile.
Hear me, child. I am not barren anymore, for your flame lives in me.
And so Victor fed her this lie of the Child of Embers in order to keep her happy. If they can't have a child of their own, then surely they could take someone else's. In their pursuit of Hugo in the hope of having a child, the siblings' mother, Beatrice, is executed. Amelie slits her throat in a ritual sacrifice with Amicia soon to follow. The Count and Countess's obsession with Hugo is ultimately their undoing, not only because Hugo ends up killing Amelie and Amicia kills the Count, but they also gave the siblings a chance to infiltrate the cult and find out more about what they're dealing with in terms of the Prima Macula, and who the Child of Embers truly was.
That's his throne, and this, I think, is his name.
Basil?
He was the carrier, just like you. You're not the only one.
Amicia and Hugo are the protector and the carrier, respectively. The protector being sworn to protect the carrier. And it turns out that they aren't the only ones, with their predecessors being Aelia, the first protector, and Basilius, the first carrier, who was also the Child of Embers. The Count didn't understand how truly correct he was. It seems that, like the Phoenix, Basilius is reborn as Hugo, as the second carrier, or at least the second carrier that we know of. And much like his successor, Basilius was also taken advantage of. What happens when your caretakers become your jailers?
I heard Hugo cry. What's going on?
He didn't react well. He's having a seizure.
What? Mother, you must stop this. We don't know this man.
Amicia, this sort of thing was always likely. And this man is an exalted member of the most ancient college of alchemists that exists.
The Order are a group of alchemists who have researched the macula for about 800 years, and their main goal is to find a cure for this curse. And throughout both games, we meet two official members of the Order, Laurentius in A Plague Tale Innocence and Vodan in A Plague Tale Requiem. Now, in A Plague Tale Innocence, Laurentius is an actual family friend of the de Runes, having been the one who mentored Beatrice in her pursuit of alchemy. And together, the two hunted down various different cures for Hugo that inevitably did not work. And while Laurentius may have been a friend, Vodan is very, very different.
The last threshold is a very rare event, a critical one. Of course, from now on, we need to isolate him. The Order has special buildings.
You want to lock him away?
He shows himself to be a very cold man, especially when it comes to caring for Hugo, even though his treatments often lead Hugo into having seizures. And to much to Amicia's dismay, Vodan wishes Hugo to be held in a research facility led by the Order, and their mother agrees. However, with their investigation into Basilius and Aelia, the de Rune siblings come to find out that Laurentius's kindness made him an outlier.
The Phoenix is the Order. It's just that.
Sorry, boy.
But no!
While the Order aimed to find a cure for the macula, their failures led them to imprison Basilius and separate him from his protector, Aelia, which pushes him to the final threshold of the Prima Macula. And what the Order did with Basilius sort of mirrors what Beatrice, their mother, does with Hugo, by keeping him isolated from the rest of the world, not really letting him outside of his room because of the macula. But at the very least, Beatrice did love her son and wanted to protect him. But unfortunately, you cannot escape what's inside of you. And for Hugo, Hugo's own blood takes advantage of him as well.
My head. Shut up.
In the end, the macula always wins. It is a sentient, malicious, parasitic thing. It wants nothing but to consume everything. Through the story of the games, Hugo gains power as he progresses through these thresholds of the Prima Macula. First, he is able to direct a small horde of rats to wherever he wants them to go. Later, at the second threshold, he is able to directly almost possess these rats and create torrents and tornadoes of them in order to send to his enemies. And while you gain some extremely helpful abilities in gameplay, Hugo himself grows weaker and weaker, and these are just signs that the Prima Macula is winning. He suffers from various weakness spells where he has a lot of trouble walking and getting around on his own, having Amicia carry him. And while the macula does not have a voice that we can hear, Hugo can communicate with it as if it were another person. And it all comes to a head when the Prima Macula reaches its final threshold, the nebula.
Hugo! He thinks I'm dead. He gave himself to the macula.
In order for the carrier to pass through the final threshold, there is a specific catalyst that needs to occur. The protector must fail in their job to protect the carrier. This happened with the first carrier and protector, Basilius and Aelia. When Aelia found out that Basilius was being imprisoned and he would spend his final days alone without her, she set out to find him. However, she failed in the process and ended up dying before she could see Basilius again. And once the carrier loses their protector, the only thing that they can cling on to is the Prima Macula. The curse materializes itself as a cocoon of ash that houses these large, pulsating, gesticulating pouches of plague rats that it sends out into the world in waves, infecting and consuming everything and everyone in its path. At this point, there's no need for the macula to be housed by a carrier. There's no need for the carrier for the host anymore. And so, the curse kills them.
I'm scared of myself, Amicia.
Throughout their journey, Amicia has protected Hugo from various people and factions that wanted nothing to do but use Hugo to their advantage. The Inquisition was power-hungry, and the Count attempted to make a bastardization of a family when he could not create one for himself. And the curse, as curses do, inevitably consumed its carrier, just as it would consume everything else. And in trying to protect Hugo's innocence, Amicia's innocence is corrupted, turning her into a hardened killer, and Hugo's innocence is just lost as he loses faith within himself. And thus, instead of protecting Hugo from the world, Amicia now has to protect the world from Hugo.
Amicia, we're here.
I know.
There is no cure for who or what you are. You can never escape what's in the dark. Nobody is coming for you or any of us. The only thing that will light your way is the fire you ignite for yourself and those you care for.
I love you. I've been happy with you. Goodbye, Amicia.
I love you. I love you so much.
I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. A Plague Tale I just recently played it, and it's honestly become one of my favorite, I guess, fantasy / historical games that I've ever played. I won't lie to you. I teared up a little bit, especially when Hugo said that he was scared of himself. That one almost got me. And I'm very excited to play A Plague Tale Resonance and go through Sophia's story. And if you would like me to go through the other side characters of A Plague Tale, because they did have a big part to play, please let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next investigation. This is Detective Cook, signing off.